What if I told you that every single night you disappear? Not metaphorically, not emotionally. For several hours, the version of you that worries about work, checks notifications, overthinks old conversations, and plans tomorrow simply vanishes. So where do you go when you sleep? It sounds like a strange question. Most people would say, nowhere. I just sleep. But if that's true, why does it sometimes feel like you've lived an entire lifetime before your alarm even rings? One minute you're lying in bed, the next you're standing in your childhood home, then you're flying, then you're talking to someone who hasn't been in your life for years, and suddenly your alarm goes off. Everything disappears. It's almost like your mind took a journey and refused to bring back the map. Here's something even stranger. You spend roughly 1/3 of your life asleep. Think about that for a second. If you live to 90 years old, you'll spend around 30 years sleeping. 30 years! Yet most of us know almost nothing about what actually happens during that time. It's like owning a house with one locked room you've never opened. Every night you enter it, every morning you leave, but you rarely remember what happened inside. And maybe that's exactly why sleep has fascinated humans for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations believed sleep was a doorway. Some thought the soul wandered while the body rested. Others believed dreams carried messages from another world. Today, science offers different answers. But surprisingly, the mystery hasn't completely disappeared. Because even though we can measure brain activity with incredible precision, one question still feels deeply personal. Where does you go? Let's start with something you probably experience all the time. Have you ever been driving somewhere familiar and suddenly realized you barely remember the last 10 minutes? Your body was moving, your eyes were open, but your mind felt somewhere else. Sleep is even stranger. Your body stays safely in bed, but your awareness changes completely. Your brain doesn't simply shut down. In fact, during certain stages of sleep, it's incredibly active. It reorganizes memories, sorts emotions, strengthens learning, throws away information it doesn't need. It's less like switching off a computer and more like an entire city working overnight while everyone thinks it's empty. Imagine thousands of workers repairing roads, cleaning streets, replacing broken lights, and organizing files before sunrise. That's your brain, quiet from the outside, busy on the inside. Then come the dreams. This is where things become fascinating. Dreams don't follow normal rules. Your best friend suddenly becomes your teacher. A supermarket turns into a beach. You can breathe underwater without questioning it. And somehow, everything feels completely normal. Why? Because the part of your brain responsible for logical thinking becomes less active. Your imagination takes the driver's seat. It's like your brain becomes both the movie director and the audience. But here's the twist. Dreams aren't just random nonsense. Many researchers believe they're connected to emotional processing. Have you noticed that stressful days often lead to strange dreams? Or that after losing someone, they suddenly appear in your sleep as if nothing ever happened? Your brain may be trying to process emotions that were too heavy to unpack while you were awake. In a way, dreams can become conversations you never had, goodbyes you never got to say, fears wearing strange costumes. Sometimes they're confusing, sometimes beautiful, sometimes terrifying. But they often reveal something your waking mind was too distracted to notice. Then there's another mystery. Have you ever fallen asleep only to feel like you were falling? Your entire body jerks, your heart races, and suddenly you're awake again. Almost everyone has experienced this. Scientists call it a hypnic jerk. No one knows exactly why it happens. Some think your brain briefly mistakes your muscles relaxing for actual falling. It's such a tiny moment. Yet it reminds us how little control we really have once sleep begins. And what about those nights that feel like they lasted 5 minutes? You close your eyes, blink, morning. Where did those 8 hours go? You don't remember every second because consciousness isn't recording continuously. It's like reading a book with entire chapters gently removed. Time still passed. You simply weren't there to witness it the way you're experiencing this sentence right now. Maybe that's why waking up can feel so strange. For a few seconds, you don't know where you are, what day it is, what problems you're supposed to have. Then, almost instantly, your identity loads back in. Your name, your responsibilities, your memories. It's almost like your brain is reopening thousands of tabs that were temporarily closed. And isn't that interesting? Every morning, you become yourself again. We rarely appreciate how incredible that is. Now, imagine if sleep didn't exist. Your emotions would become unstable, your memory would weaken, your decisions would get worse. Even your sense of reality would slowly begin to crack. Sleep isn't stealing time from your life. It's quietly protecting the person you become tomorrow. Maybe that's why after a good night's sleep, problems sometimes feel smaller. The situation didn't change. You did. Your brain spent the night reorganizing itself in ways you never noticed. So where do you go when you sleep? Maybe nowhere. Maybe everywhere. Maybe the better question isn't where you go, but who returns. Because every single morning, you wake up carrying slightly different memories, slightly different emotions, and a slightly different version of yourself. Most of those changes are invisible, but over months, over years, they shape the person staring back at you in the mirror. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this. You're not simply ending another day. You're entering one of the greatest mysteries every human experiences. A place where your body rests, your mind rebuilds, your memories rearrange themselves, and your future self quietly begins taking shape long before the sun comes up.